Welcome to Deep Thought. A spiritual influencer should not have a jacked up life. Look, I want y'all to think about that because, I don't try to promote any spiritual beliefs on here, at least not blatantly. I'll put it like that. Some people can read between the lines, but I'll just say for that part, for those who understand, no explanation is necessary. For those who don't, none is possible. But check it out though. Anybody who's trying to influence you blatantly spiritual, and it depends, it don't matter whatever path it is. It don't matter. It could be anything from Abrahamic religion to, something where they have to go out in the woods or something, or, they pray into like a whole pantheon of deities, whatever the case. It could be a minister, an imam, a rabbi, a priest, a worship leader, whatever the case, whatever they are. If they're a spiritual influencer and they're trying to influence you with their spiritual path, okay, whatever it is, I can respect that. What I don't respect, and I'm just gonna say, is if they have a jacked up life. Because how are you going to tell somebody something but you don't have it yourself? No, seriously. How you going to tell somebody some stuff but you haven't seen the problems in that very area, Or your life ain't, you like your overall life. Like, you might have somebody who call themselves a spiritual influencer in some way, but they're poor. And that poor and that living, because you might have some who are great, they consciously living a more humble life, a more modest life. Okay, but it's their choice. But, if you look at their lives aren't really good. And I don't mean something they can show online, but something that people who are around them, because you can show anything online. You can make up something, but when the people who know them in the real world, and they can see that they're jacked up. I mean, just aspects of their life are just jacked up. But they trying to tell you to follow this path or that path or whatever. They shouldn't have one. The reason why, for very simple. They should be applying the principles of what they're talking about for themselves. That's the key. That's the key thing. Are they applying their own principles for themselves, or are they just telling people whatever so they get a little bit of money or whatever the case? If they try and tell you to behave a certain way, are they behaving that way? Are they showing how this works? Because it's like I said, it's not necessarily about money, but living the life you want to live, living a peaceful life. Some people might say, you know what, I don't want that big mansion. Somebody could be a spiritual influencer and say, you know what, I don't want that big mansion or that big car, but I'm happy in my life. How many of them can say that they truly happy? Like you can look at their body language, how they talk and everything, They not having problems. But when you hear, now this ain't saying they supposed to be perfect and stuff. We all growing, but they should have something to show, like in their life and their behavior, that they following the principles that they're talking about. They're following the principles. There's a lot of ministers. I'm gonna tell you what, I've dealt with a lot of ministers, priests, imams, people who are supposedly showing you, how to live. They following a path or a craft or whatever. And, you just like, but hold up. You trying to present all this, but how come this hasn't helped you to live better? The best sermon is an example, but they're not even giving that example, are they? They're not giving that example. They're not showing, because when you see something, it was like this one saying. It was talked about in that movie with Denzel Washington, Malcolm X, back in the day. And I think, he's playing Malcolm X, and he had a character playing the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I think this happened in the real world. use the example of a clean glass or a dirty glass. Like everybody wants to drink from a clean glass. So, you need to show what you're doing. Are you showing your walk? Whatever your walk is, are you showing it in your behavior? Because I've seen some people and they'll say they whatever, but I'm like, well, your behavior doesn't suggest that. Like I'll use the example of Muslims. Yeah, you might think, especially in what is colloquially known as Black Islam, and there's a big deal about not eating pork, and smoking cigarettes. Yet I've heard about Muslims who are doing both. They smoking a cigarette, eating that pork, and everything. It was like, well, hold up. Or you get some Christian ministers. They telling you, hey, you ain't supposed to have sex outside of marriage. You're supposed to be loyal, or if you get married, you loyal to your wife. But they done stroked half the congregation. That's jacked up. That's jacked up, It really is, because you're not walking your talk. And that's one thing, any spiritual influencer, okay, are you walking your talk? You telling us to do all this stuff, but you're not doing it. And, and you look at their lives and I'm like, well, hold up. You trying to tell us this or that. Like, and that could be for anything. You telling us something, but it's not even so much whether or not you showing it, are you walking it, Like if we see you, can we see your interactions with people? You saying treat people a certain way, but then when you ain't on stage, you talking trash about people. See, they shouldn't have it, because that's one thing. However you worship deity, God, gods, whatever you do, that's one thing I will say. And that's part of the reason why I don't present anything. Because I'm like, if you're going to present a certain path, you need to walk that path. And you need to know other people need to follow that. People are watching you. People are seeing if you're a clean glass of water. And it's very important. It's very important. Like if somebody's going to influence other people spiritually in any path, they need to walk that path, because people are paying attention. You can preach anything. But it's like I said about the ministers who stroking half their congregation. They tell you one thing, but they doing something else. And I've seen that with people from different paths. And don't say, well, we're not perfect or anything. Hold up. Are you working for that level of perfection? Are you working, doing the work? That's very important. I want y'all to think about that. Because I'm always paying attention to stuff like that. You tell me one thing and you get some people even trying to force it on you, trying to browbeat you and say, yeah, you're supposed to be following this. It was like, you supposed to show in your actions what you're about. So something to think about. I want y'all to really think about that, all right? So anyway, that's all I have for right now. Something to really think about, all right? Now I get back with y'all. Peace and blessings.